You know that moment when the cold is so sharp, it feels like it cuts straight through your skin. Your breath turns into tiny white clouds, the world goes quiet and snow stretches endlessly in every direction. Now imagine facing that kind of cold, not on foot, but on a machine built to slice through frozen forests, climb icy hills, and cross places most people would never dare to go. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Not all snowmobiles were built the same. Some were so rare, so strange, or so far ahead of their time that most people have never even seen them. Today, you're coming with me on a frozen journey to discover the 15 rarest and most legendary vintage snowmobiles of all time. These machines didn't just ride on snow. They changed history, pushed limits, and in some cases completely ignored logic. Stick with me because the last one on this list is so insane it barely feels real. Picture the mid-1960s. Snowmobiles weren't toys yet. They were survival tools. In 1965, Bombardier released the Ski-Doo Super Olympic A399, a machine that quietly helped shape the entire snowmobile world. Back then, traveling across snow by engine still felt like science fiction. This machine ran a single-cylinder 399cc engine with around 18 horsepower. That might sound small today, but in the 60s, it was revolutionary. It weighed roughly 185 kilograms and used a simple belt drive system that just worked, even in brutal cold. Visually, it's pure vintage charm. Bright yellow body panels, soft rounded lines, and that unmistakable smell of burning two-stroke oil hanging in the air. You could hear it long before you saw it, a steady metallic growl echoing through frozen woods. People used it for everything. Leisure rides, hauling supplies, patrolling trails, even serious work in rural areas. Today, it's not just a snowmobile. It's a symbol of where everything began. By the time the 1970s rolled around, things got louder, faster, and far more aggressive. Polaris entered the scene with the TX Starfire, a machine that felt like it was born to race. This wasn't built for calm trail rides. It was built to dominate frozen lakes. With a twin-cylinder engine pushing up to 795 cc and around 75 horsepower, it was a monster for its time. The lightweight chassis and reinforced suspension gave it an edge competitors struggled to match. And the look? Long, sleek fairings, bold red and blue striping, and a stance that screamed speed even when standing still. When you fired it up, the sound was sharp and high-pitched, like the machine was constantly begging to be pushed harder. It became a legend in snow drag racing and oval track competitions. Today, finding one in good condition feels like finding buried treasure. But if you think that was bold, wait until you meet something with real personality. In 1971, Scorpion released the Whip, a snowmobile that balanced power, lightness, and style in a way few machines ever did. It ran a 440cc twin-cylinder engine delivering about 40 horsepower and featured something rare for the time, a manual 2-speed transmission. That gave riders more control and made it surprisingly versatile. It weighed just over 190 kilograms, making it incredibly agile. The design had pure 70s soul. Rounded body panels, vibrant metallic paint, and a signature center headlight that made it instantly recognizable. The sound was dry and sharp, paired with the familiar smell of oil burning in cold air. Riders loved it because it felt alive under you. Today, collectors chase the Whip not just for performance, but for its unmistakable character. Now imagine hearing a sound so piercing it slices through the silence of snow-covered mountains. That sound belonged to the Yamaha SRX 440, released in 1976. This machine became one of the most coveted snowmobiles of the decade. Yamaha did something wild. They installed a 3-cylinder 440cc engine producing around 65 horsepower. 3 cylinders on snow was almost unheard of at the time. It weighed about 200 kilograms and delivered a perfect mix of speed and stability. Visually, it looked sharp and serious. Metallic blue paint, silver accents, squared-off lines, and a square headlight that gave it a focused, almost aggressive face. On the trail or on the track, it dominated. That screaming three-cylinder engine turned heads everywhere it went. Today, it stands as a reminder of when Japanese engineering shocked the snowmobile world. Just when you think technology couldn't move faster, the 1990s arrived with something groundbreaking. In 1994, Arctic Cat released the ZR580EFI Limited, and it changed everything. This machine introduced electronic fuel injection to a world still used to carburetors. The result was smoother power, better fuel efficiency, and sharper throttle response. It packed a 580cc twin-cylinder engine producing around 95 horsepower and weighed about 210 kilograms. The design looked mean. Neon green paint, black accents, and dual headlights that cut through fog like angry eyes. The sound was deep and powerful, mixed with a distinctive intake whistle that sent chills down your spine. It ruled trails, drag strips, and snowcross tracks. Today, it's one of the most respected limited edition machines ever made. But the next one takes us straight into pure racing insanity. In the 1970s, Canadian company Snowjet built the Thunderjet, a snowmobile designed with only one goal in mind: speed. It featured a twin-cylinder engine up to 650cc, producing around 70 horsepower, stuffed into an ultralight chassis weighing just 180 kilograms. It looked like a missile on skis. Long aerodynamic fairings, hidden headlights, bright blue paint with silver details. When it screamed past, the sound was metallic and high-pitched, announcing its presence from far away. It dominated snow drags and oval tracks, becoming one of the most feared racers of its era. Today, it's one of the most valuable vintage racing snowmobiles on the planet. If you're enjoying this frozen ride so far, don't go anywhere. Because from here on, the machines only get rarer, stranger, and more unbelievable. Asterisk, let's keep moving. Because now we're stepping into machines that most people don't even know existed. In 1976, an American manufacturer named Rupp released the Nitro 2, a snowmobile built for riders who wanted raw performance without excess weight. It came equipped with a 440cc twin-cylinder engine producing around 60 horsepower, all packed into a chassis weighing only about 185 kilograms. That power-to-weight ratio made it feel explosive on snow. The design was pure 70s muscle. Bright red paint, chrome accents, and a long, aggressive seat that made you feel locked into the machine. When you cracked the throttle, the sound was deep and punchy, snapping sharply through the frozen air. It carved corners with ease and dominated drag races on frozen lakes. Today, the Nitro 2 is one of those machines collectors chase relentlessly, because very few survived unmodified. But just when you think American machines had the 70s covered, Canada answered back with something equally bold. Motorbeken may be better known in other industries, but in the 1970s, Motoki released the Grand Prix Snowmobile, and it left a serious mark. This machine featured a twin-cylinder engine reaching up to 640cc with roughly 70 horsepower and weighed around 210 kilograms. It wasn't just fast, it was durable. The design was impossible to ignore. Bright orange bodywork, rounded fairings, and a center-mounted headlight that gave it a unique face on the trail. The sound was deep and resonant, echoing across frozen fields like a challenge to anything nearby. Riders used it for long-distance trails and racing alike. Today, finding a Grand Prix in original condition feels like stepping back into a time capsule from the golden era of snowmobiles. Now let's rewind even further, back to a time when snowmobiles were still experimental tools rather than recreational machines. In the 1960s, Evinrude, famous for boat engines, stepped into the snowmobile world with the skier. This machine was all about simplicity and reliability. It ran a single-cylinder engine around 300cc, producing roughly 18 horsepower, and weighed only about 160 kilograms. That lightweight made it incredibly easy to maneuver, especially in deep snow. There was nothing fancy about it. Exposed tubular frame, minimal body panels, and a long flat seat built for function, not comfort. The sound was a high-pitched metallic buzz that blended with the scent of burning oil in the cold air. Hunters, fishermen, and people living in remote snowy regions relied on it daily. Today, Finding an Evinrude skier in good condition is incredibly difficult, which only adds to its legend. And if you think that was tough, wait until you hear about something that earned the nickname of a snow tank. In 1969, Canadian manufacturer Bosky released the 650, a machine known for its brutal strength and ability to handle any condition you threw at it. It featured a 650C twin-cylinder engine, producing around 50 horsepower. That power was sent to an extra-wide track designed for maximum traction. This was not a lightweight toy. It was built to work. The look matched its purpose. Bright blue body panels, a large center headlight and chrome details that gave it a commanding presence. When it moved, it sounded like a snow tractor, deep, steady, and unstoppable. Farmers, workers in remote areas, and serious snow explorers trusted it. Bosky didn't last long as a company, which makes surviving models extremely rare today. Now picture a machine so small and light it feels almost delicate, yet strong enough to change winter travel forever. In 1966, Johnson released the Ski Horse, a compact snowmobile built for pure practicality. It ran a single-cylinder engine, producing around 20 horsepower and weighed just 150 kilograms. That made it incredibly easy to handle, even for inexperienced riders. The design was simple but iconic. White body panels with green accents, straight lines, and a small headlight. That almost looked like an afterthought. The sound was that sharp two-stroke buzz that echoed across frozen lakes and fields. Farmers, hunters, and fishermen loved it because it just worked. Today, owners rarely sell them, and when one appears, collectors move fast. And now we arrive at a machine that pushed power to a level nobody expected in the 1960s. In 1969, Arctic Cat released the King Cat 800, and it shocked everyone. This thing was outrageous. It featured a massive three-cylinder engine displacing 793cc and producing around 85 horsepower. In the late 60s, that kind of power on snow was almost unthinkable. The machine weighed about 250 kilograms, heavy but built for straight-line domination. The design was intimidating. Dark bodywork with aggressive accents, a wide stance, and a long seat that dared you to open the throttle. When you did, the sound was thunderous. Three cylinders roaring together across frozen lakes. It ruled drag races and became a legend almost instantly. Today, it's one of the rarest and most valuable snowmobiles ever built. At this point, you might think you've seen everything. Big engines, racing monsters, workhorses built like tanks. But the next, machines completely flipped the idea of what a snowmobile should even be. And trust me, what's coming next barely makes sense at all. Asterisk, now we step into territory where snowmobiles stop being normal machines and start becoming pure experiments. In 1980, Chrysler did something nobody expected. They released the Snow Runner, and calling it a snowmobile almost feels wrong. Chrysler had one strange idea: build the lightest, most portable snow machine ever made. The Snow Runner used a tiny single-cylinder 134cc engine producing only about 7 horsepower. That sounds weak until you realize the entire machine weighed just around 75 kilograms. The craziest part was that it folded up. You could literally put it in the trunk of a car. It looked like a strange mix between a bicycle and a sled. 1. Narrow ski up front, a tiny rear track, and a skeletal tubular frame. When it ran, it made a high-pitched buzzing sound, almost like a flying drone skimming over snow. Chrysler originally designed it for military and emergency use, but in deep snow it struggled. Today, it's one of the weirdest and rarest snow machines ever built. A collector's oddball that sparks conversation every time it's seen. And just when portability couldn't get stranger, Bombardier decided to ignore every rule entirely. In 1973, they released the Ski-Doo Elite, a machine so bizarre it still feels futuristic today. This was the only production snowmobile ever made with a fully enclosed cabin and side-by-side seating. Instead of sitting on top of the machine, you sat inside it. The Elite used a 635cc twin-cylinder Engine producing about 36 horsepower and weighed a massive 350 kilograms. Heavy, yes, but it offered something unheard of at the time. Full protection from wind, snow, and brutal cold. The design looked like it came straight from a science fiction movie. Rounded windows, side doors, a huge body, and a rear end that looked more like a small car than a snowmobile. The sound was muted and deep, the engine noise softened by the enclosed cabin. Ski resorts used it for patrol work, and luxury winter tourists loved it. Today, the Elite is one of the most valuable and sought-after snowmobiles ever made. But before we reach the final madness, there's one more chapter that deserves attention. Back in the late 1960s and early 70s, several manufacturers experimented with snowmobiles built specifically for military and industrial use. One of the most extreme examples was the Trackmaster-based snow vehicles adapted for snow travel. These machines weren't fast or stylish, they were unstoppable. Wide tracks, low gearing, and engines built to run forever. They could haul heavy cargo, tow equipment, and move troops across frozen terrain where nothing else could survive. The sound was slow and mechanical, more like a tank than a recreational vehicle. While not many were sold to civilians, a few escaped into private hands. Today, these machines are nearly impossible to find and are often hidden away in museums or military collections. Now imagine blending two completely different worlds into one frozen nightmare. Motorcycles and snowmobiles were never meant to mix. But in the 1970s, someone decided to try anyway. Custom builders took powerful Harley-Davidson V-twin engines and mounted them into handmade snowmobile frames. These weren't factory machines. They were acts of mechanical madness. A big Harley V-twin pushing around 65 horsepower doesn't just move snow, it tears through it. The torque alone was enough to rip tracks apart if you weren't careful. Visually, these machines were jaw-dropping. Chrome frames, motorcycle gas tanks, exposed engines, bobber-style seats, and skis that looked almost decorative. When they fired up, the sound was unmistakable. That deep, pulsing Harley rumble echoing across frozen mountains. These machines weren't built for trails. They were built for shows, exhibitions, and pure shock value. Today, surviving examples are priceless. But even with all that insanity, there are still machines that pushed boundaries in quieter ways. Some vintage snowmobiles became legendary. Not because they were powerful, but because they went places no one else could. Early long-track utility snowmobiles used by Arctic explorers and scientists played a huge role in polar research. These machines carried supplies, pulled sleds, and helped humans survive in environments that could kill in minutes. They weren't flashy, they were tools of survival. Their legacy lives on in every modern expedition snowmobile built today. At this point, you might be wondering how snowmobiles went from simple tools to wild experiments and rolling works of art. The answer is simple. Competition, curiosity, and the human need to push limits. Every machine you've heard about so far represents a moment where someone said, "What if we go further? What if we go faster? What if we do something nobody else has done?" And that mindset led directly to the rarest, wildest machine of them all. Because now, we've reached the point where logic completely disappears. The final machine on this list doesn't just bend the rules. It ignores them entirely. And once you hear what it is, you'll understand why it stands alone at the very top. Asterisk. Now we reach the machine that barely feels real. The one that sounds like a myth until you see it with your own eyes. Somewhere in the 1970s, when custom builders were experimenting without limits, a snowmobile was created using a Harley-Davidson engine. Yes, a real Harley-Davidson V-twin, the same kind of engine built to thunder down highways, was mounted into a handmade snowmobile frame. This was not a factory experiment. This was raw mechanical rebellion. The engine produced around 65 horsepower, but horsepower doesn't tell the full story. The torque from that V-twin was monstrous. It didn't just move the machine forward, it tried to twist it apart. Visually, it looked like nothing else on. Snow, a chrome tubular frame, exposed engine shaking at idle, a motorcycle fuel tank perched on top, a minimalist bobber-style seat, and a pair of narrow skis that almost looked ornamental. There were no fairings, no insulation, no attempt to make it practical. This machine wasn't built for comfort or even reliability. It was built to make a statement, and when it started, there was no mistaking it. That deep, uneven Harley rumble echoed across frozen landscapes, completely out of place, yet impossible to ignore. It sounded like a biker rally trapped in the middle of winter. Riding it was pure insanity. The power delivery was brutal. Twist the throttle too hard, and the track would dig violently into the snow. Control was always a battle. But that was never the point. This snowmobile existed to prove that boundaries didn't matter, that winter machines didn't have to follow rules. Today, surviving Harley-powered snowmobiles are incredibly rare. Most were dismantled, broken, or lost to time. A few that remain are treated as mechanical art, displayed at shows and museums, and whispered about among collectors. When you step back and look at everything on this list, something becomes clear. These machines are more than snowmobiles. They are snapshots of human creativity colliding with extreme environments. From the humble Ski-Doo Super Olympic that helped people survive winter, to racing monsters that screamed across frozen lakes, to enclosed snowmobiles that felt like something from the future, every one of these machines tells a story. A story of people refusing to stay inside when the snow fell, of engineers and builders who saw ice not as a barrier but as a challenge. What makes these snowmobiles legendary isn't just rarity. It's the courage behind them. Someone had to imagine them first. Someone had to build them, test them, and risk everything to see if they would work. Many failed. Some succeeded beyond anyone's expectations, and all of them left a mark on the frozen paths of history. Today, most of these machines are locked away in private collections, museums, or barns hidden deep in snowy regions. Some haven't run in decades. Others are still fired up on special occasions, their engines echoing through the cold like ghosts from another era. And every time one comes back to life, it reminds us of a time when snowmobiles weren't just products. They were experiments. They were dreams on skis. So now it's your turn. Which one of these machines would you actually dare to ride? The screaming race sleds, the heavy snow tanks, the enclosed cabin snowmobile, or the completely insane Harley-powered monster? And which one shocked you the most just hearing about it? Let me know in the comments. If you love extreme machines, rare vehicles, and stories from the edge of engineering, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell, because this is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next one.